Oh, DoorDash, you just can't help yourselves, can you?
Xbox,
Twitter, Uber,
Postmates,
Netflix, MoviePass,
Google, Facebook, eBay,
DoorDash,
Apple, Amazon,
Airbnb, the Apptrepreneur. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and oh my gosh, I'm wearing the DoorDash shirt again. You know, funny little side story, when I first started doing this, I was going to actually do it where I would actually wear the t-shirt of whatever company I was talking about. Like, I just swap out all those t-shirts, but then I realized I had to actually buy the shirts from the companies, and they charge a lot of money for their shirts. The DoorDash shirts were free because DoorDash was trying to pay me off to not make any more videos, I think. But anyway, that's just a little side story. So anyway, this is kind of like the epilogue, if you will, of the DoorDash tip policy that we've been talking about the last several days. For those of you who are not aware, this issue started with DoorDash basically skimming tips. Now, they did that for a long time, but finally the news media started to catch on. They started writing articles. And then Tony Zhu, the CEO, actually did a little bit of an update saying that they had listened to feedback and that they weren't going to change anything, but they were going to be more transparent about where your money was going, which was basically them saying, yeah, we're going to keep stealing from you, but we're going to be more transparent about, which, by the way, I don't trust them to be transparent about anything. This is a company, by the way, that will deactivate you and say, due to the circumstances of the policy you have signed, customer support can offer you no information about why you were deactivated or any alternative outcome. Even though I was let back on twice, just to let you know. Try making YouTube videos and sending it to the media. You'll get reactivated probably. But anyway, so, well, no one was taking that lying down. I certainly wasn't going to accept that. I mean, DoorDash is awful, so I should spread that news. And then finally, DoorDash said that they were going to not steal the tips anymore. However, that doesn't mean that they won't necessarily skim you in other areas, which they haven't announced yet, but I will definitely talk about it if that happens. Well, Tony Zhu has actually written a letter to DoorDashers, and my goodness, is it insulting. However, before we talk about that, let's have a word from our sponsors, because after reading this email, you will definitely want to get work somewhere else.
If you have rideshare insurance, you know what a disaster it is. It's super expensive. Some guys are paying over $100 a month for it on top of their regular insurance. So we're working with an insurance company to help lower prices and get better coverage. They're working on a plan where Uber and Lyft drivers will either pay by the mile or by the hour. You'll only pay for what you use, but we need some information from you, the drivers. We need to know on average how far and how long you drive with Uber and Lyft each week. So would you click on the link below in the description and take just 5 minutes to fill out the survey? We'd really appreciate it.
And just as a little bit of a side note, if you can take 5 minutes to do the survey, the link is below. They would really appreciate it, as would I. So let's take a look at this DoorDash email that people are getting. This is really insulting, and we are obviously going to talk about it almost line by line. So here, I'm going to read the whole letter first, and then we will, kind of go over the finer points. So, dear so-and-so, this person, by the way, blocked out their name. After a lot of consideration, I announced last night that we will be changing the Dasher pay model. I want to email you directly to share why I made the decision and to ensure you know what to expect in the days ahead. In 2017, we built a pay model to prioritize transparency and consistent earnings. We thought we were doing the right thing by boosting a Dasher's earnings when a customer left a small tip or no tip at all. While we continue to hear from Dashers that the model generally works for you, to serve Dashers well over the long term, we also have to serve the consumers who use our platform. I did not think that we could continue to do right by you if there were some customers who felt like their tip did not matter. So what does this mean to you? It means that we will soon announce a new pay model where any customer tip will be independent of DoorDash's contribution for the delivery. It also means that we'll need your input as we develop other details. Stay tuned for ways to continue to have your perspective heard. Our goal is to get 1% better every day and to serve our entire community, including the Dasher community, to the best of our ability. These beliefs have led us to improvements in the past, and they serve as our guide for the future. With your help, we can get there. Onwards, Tony Zhu. Now, that is a very, very insulting email, and we're going to now go over every single, because there is so much wrong with this. So first of all, after a lot of consideration, I announced last night that we'll be changing the Dasher pay model. No, that's bumkiss. It's not after a lot of consideration. It's after a lot of negative press. You got a lot of negative press because because you had already admitted in the Twitter feed before that you had given this a lot of consideration, decided not to really do anything about it. But let's move on. I want to email you directly to share why I made a decision and to ensure you know what to expect in the days ahead. AKA, I want to try to convince you that I wasn't being a complete douchebag or dickwad when I decided to steal your money that you legally earned and should have legally been allowed to keep. And by the way, please don't sue me. In 2017, we built a pay model to prioritize transparency and consistent earnings. About that. In 2017, your system worked. It was very simple and straightforward. You got $5 per delivery, regardless of length of the trip, which, that did lead to some problems, but let's not get into it right now. Basically, it was $5 per trip, though, and whatever tip you got to keep. And by the way, DoorDash made it very difficult to not tip you. So that's what it was. And it was pretty easy, and yes, it was pretty consistent. And here's the thing. We thought we were doing the right thing by boosting a Dasher's earning when a customer left a small tip or no tip at all. Okay, here's where he must be getting a little confused, because what he is referring to is the current system where they give you a guaranteed payment of $5, but if someone tips $3, you don't get the $3 because they consider that part of the guaranteed pay. So here's the thing. He's definitely getting this mixed up. He probably forgot that they once had a fair system in all of this, because once they changed it to that's when people started griping. Well, let's continue. While we continue to hear from Dashers that the model generally works for you, I highly doubt you do. I'm not even going to finish that sentence before I call him. No, it does not generally work for the Dashers. It clearly doesn't generally work for the Dashers, because if it did, it wouldn't have been newsworthy. To serve Dashers well over the long term, no, because here's the thing, people were saying no, that does not serve us well in the long term. We also have to serve the customers who use our platform. Now, here's the thing, I will give them this much credit. Yeah, if you don't have customers, you don't have business, and therefore the Dashers don't have work. I acknowledge that, but here's the thing, the customers were not getting a better deal as a result of this. The customers were still paying the $5 Dasher fee. DoorDash was literally stealing money when they started doing this. When they started it. How did it work? Well, it was very simple. They charged the customers $5, maybe $6. I don't know, but they charged $5 to $7. And then they gave the Dasher $5. Plus whatever the tip was. That's how it worked. Very, very simple. What has it been the last several months? Well, the customer is still paying that same delivery fee initiative. In fact, DoorDash has lowered their payout to be $4. And yet, they have done it so that if someone tips, that money goes towards the $4 they pay. They guarantee just $1 now. And if someone doesn't tip, you get $4. If they do tip, hey, that tip is part of the Dasher fee. And if they pay more than what DoorDash was supposed to cover, then you'll get a little bit. But no, the customers did not get any benefit out of this. The Dashers didn't get any benefit out of this. This whole system was made specifically to appease DoorDash, to benefit DoorDash, and no one else. Continuing. I did not think that we could continue to do right by you if there were some customers who felt like their tip did not matter. Well, you're probably right on that one. Just to let you know, you are probably right. However, it didn't need to be this way. And here's the other thing. This is the most suspicious sentence out of the whole thing. Because when customers started figuring out that what you were doing, they simply stopped tipping in the app for the most part. They started tipping in cash. Or they tipped very generously in the app so that the driver would get something. Well, I think DoorDash, and this is a prediction, we don't know if this is how it's going to be, by the way. I think what they are referring to is they don't want customers to not tip in the app. They want customers to tip in the app, I should say. They don't want them to tip in cash. So they're bringing it back so that the customers feel comfortable tipping in the app again. But here's the thing. This is why I warned people. It's not confirmed, but don't be surprised if within a month or two you find your rates are being dropped. Because DoorDash doesn't want to let that milk cow go. So the cash cow go, or the golden goose, whatever you want to reference you want to use. They're gonna. That's why I think this sentence particular is suspicious, because all that the customers did was they stopped tipping in the app for the most part, and DoorDash doesn't want that to happen. And now the question is, why don't they want that to happen? So here's continuing. So what does this mean for you? It means that we're going to get like a system that's more or less the same, I believe, but we'll find out. It means that we will soon announce a new pay model. Yep, keyword there, new pay model, where any customer tip will be independent of DoorDash's contribution for that delivery. It also means that we'll need your input as we develop other details. So yeah, well, I don't think you're going to pay attention, but yeah, I'll give you my input in a minute or two. Stay tuned for ways to continue to have your perspective heard. Yeah, and by the way, if you still want them to have that perspective heard, keep going to the media, because only when the media got involved did DoorDash decide they wanted to do something. Our goal is to get 1% better every day and to serve our entire community. You know, he really jumped on this whole, our goal is to get 1% better every day. That's a very, very weak metric. If you have $1, that is literally a penny. And granted, after 31 days, you would have 31 pennies, but most people would not consider that much of a gain. In fact, by the end of the year, you'd only make like $3.50, something like that. So, you know, it's like not a big deal at all. So, yeah, you probably want to aim a little bit better than 1% every day. Including the Dasher community to the best of our ability. Well, you could clearly do better, but you had to be pressured into doing it. These beliefs have led us to improvements in the past, and they serve as our guide for the future. No, they haven't led to improvements. In fact, assuming that you do exactly what you say you're going to do, it means you're just going to go back to what you were doing before. With your help, we will get there. Yeah, no, with the media's help, you will get there. Now, since you did ask for advice, here's what I recommend you do. Here's the perfect system, the original. I would recommend a flat $5 delivery charge. Of that $5, $4 goes to the drivers. If the delivery is more than 5 miles, then the customer has to pay an additional $1.50 per mile. Of that $1.50, DoorDash keeps 50 cents of it, the driver gets another $1. If there is a small order fee, which is usually $2 to $3, the driver gets $2, DoorDash gets $1. And all tips, regardless of the amount, go towards the drivers. That is, in my opinion, the perfect system for the drivers. You're not going to do it that way. In fact, here's what I predict is going to happen. I will share the prediction. I predict what's going to happen is you will let them keep the tips. However, at that point, you will be paying $2 to $3 per delivery, no exceptions, because you want to keep that money. However, you will still charge the passengers more for the delivery fee, including the mileage rates. So there are ways you could do this fairly, but you most likely will choose not to do that. However, I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. So anyway, what do all of you folks think? Do you like this response? Do you think this was a good, or do you find it insulting? I would love to know. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. And if gas prices are getting just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me that's not rideshare or food delivery related, check out my other YouTube channels, Kevin T. Rodriguez, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow Dashers out there, check us out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.